Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. I hope everyone had a really nice Thanksgiving, those of you who have celebrated. And wow, I can't believe that the holiday season has officially kicked off. Wow, the year is just about rolling down to an end, right? It went really, really fast. Amazing. For those of you who are new to the channel, I welcome you here. My name is Elizabeth. I am a divine channeler, a psychic medium, as I mentioned. I'm also a remote spirit extractor, as well as a divine twin flame on the path to union. And it's been incredible being here on YouTube, as I always say. I love to be able to support those who are not only twin flames, but who are on the spiritual track, who are spiritually awakening, who are awakened, and really are trying to figure out and put all the pieces together and you know, have more clarity and validations, confirmations, and tools to be able to understand and move forward. So that's why I'm here, and I really love the work that I do. And I definitely urge you, if you are interested, to go to theparanormalpriestess.com, and you might want to check out my bio, check out my services. I do offer personal readings, personal sessions, 30 minutes and an hour. And these are not just for twin flames, they're for anyone and everyone. I'm able to do readings for, and we really get into a lot of things. It's direct communication, so we're getting lots of information from your angelics, from your spiritual guides, sometimes from those on the other side, as well as even higher selves. So it's really, really very detailed and direct. And it's been helping a lot of people, and I love being able to do that. So if you are guided, you can definitely contact me, and the best way to do that is through my contact page. And what I do from there is I just check in with my spiritual team if it is a match. So that's just meaning if it's guided. So I ask my spiritual team if I'm the best reader for someone, and if it's a vibrational match for both people involved. And I go with that, and I always feel that's definitely the best way, and I always like to make sure everything's for the highest good. So if I am guided to work with you, I shall definitely let you know through email. If not, I will let you know as well. With the Thanksgiving weekend, it's been really, really busy for me, so I haven't gotten a chance to actually take a look at some of my my emails. So I do apologize for those of you who have possibly paid or you've been waiting for a response. Please be patient with me. I try the best that I can. With a lot of things that go on in my life, and as well as all the inquiries and the readings that I have, sometimes it's really hard to get back to people, so just give me a few days or so and I will get back to you. But I really appreciate your patience. I was very busy this Thanksgiving, so thank you for that. Oh, and I just wanted to mention one more time before I get into this video, the clearing work. This is something that I am going to be taking a break with right now until the new year. So I mentioned this in the previous video, but for those of you who didn't see the previous video, I just really need to take some care of my physical body, because I've gone through so many shifts with the energetic changes. For those of you who are watching this, you probably already know what I mean, with the Ascension symptoms and going up to the next level of frequency. My physical body has to really integrate everything, and I have been experiencing a lot of different symptoms and exhaustion and such. So it takes a lot out of me to do the clearing work, the remote clearing work that I do, and it's a couple of hours, you know, each person doing clearing work. And so it's definitely, my guides say it's not going to be in the highest good for me to address it right now. So please understand this, and thank you for understanding this. And I will be, when I get my energy back within the new year, this will be continuing, and yes, I will announce that when the time is right. For this video, we're going to be talking about the full moon, and we were lucky enough to have a Thanksgiving which had a full moon involved. Of course, the full moon lasts 3 days, so I wanted to check in with my team and see what the messages were to be able to relay that to you. And of course, when anything that comes out, you know, if you resonate with it, great. If you don't, that's fine. I just appreciate if no one leaves any really bad comments, because I don't want anything negative on the channel, and if so, I'm just not going to leave it there. So if it doesn't resonate with you, no problem. You know, you can just turn it off and carry on. But for those of you who it does resonate with, I'm glad, and I hope it does support you, and perhaps it brings up some other things for you, might trigger some things, some information, personal information for you, so just be aware of that. So you might want to like this video or favor this video, so that way you can go back to it and there might be something in there for you. But if you do resonate with it, as always, you can leave comments below, and I will try my best to get back to the comments. I try my best to read them as much as I can. And it's really great that we're able to exchange and to share. So this full moon, the very first thing that actually came to me really interesting was an animal guide. And for those of you who resonate with shamanism, or you work with animal totems, animal guides, this is going to be a good one for you. But I'm having the snowy owl or the white owl show up. And the white owl, how I understand it, is the spiritual messenger, the messenger from spirit. That majestic owl. And that owl is always going to come when there's something so important to realize. There's something so profound there for you, a profound message in which to really think about, really reflect upon, or really allow in. And when we're talking about the owl, it's always a nocturnal animal, right? And the owl has the ability to be able to bring to us that in which is hidden and reveal it to us. And also for us, not only to have the revelation, but also to gather wisdom from what we realize. Okay, what's brought out. So it's really a very big time of transition. I mean, that's how I get this, and new beginnings. So many people have mentioned to me, and I very much connect with this as well, with my own personal journey, about feeling like they're at a crossroads in life, feeling like they're just stuck at this place, and they are having a very hard time moving forward, and that usually causes a lot of fear and anxiety about the future, of what possibly isn't going to happen, or what are we in fear of that is somehow not going to happen. Not only does it trigger sometimes fears of the future, but it tends to make people feel like they've somehow done something wrong. And it's not like that. I'm not getting the message like this. It's not that anyone has done anything incorrectly and that's why they can't move forward. For some people, you know, there are outside interferences that do tend to happen. So, you know, that's something to use your intuition about, and speak to Archangel Michael about if there's anyone or anything that's interfering there. So that is real. But for a lot of people, being at a crossroads is not a bad thing. It's really about just being at this crossroads so that way we are able to realize certain information. And there's healing, lots of healing that goes on at the crossroads, so that way we are equipped to finally move ahead on our path, where finally the physical is going to open to us, or open the road, so to speak. So there isn't anything that I'm getting that's wrong here or to be afraid of. The crossroads is not a place to be afraid of. And of course, when I think of the crossroads, I think of the goddess Hecate, and how a lot of people are fearful of the Greek goddess Hecate. You know, she has her torches, and she's mysterious, and she's covered up in black with a hood, and she has her dogs, her night dogs with her and things, and she beckons you, and she has the keys to the crossroads. And you know what that's about? It's very much related to what we're talking about with the owl in many ways. They correspond because it's about transformation. It's about bringing forth the hidden information. It's about what have you not realized yet, and what have you not healed yet. So that way, once you can gather those things, let those things in and grow, that's when it's going to be time to walk on that new path. And so I get that, and I get that so many of you are going to be moving ahead now. That this is a new beginning. You're going to be moving from that crossroads. I absolutely get that. So it's not going to be long before many of us are going to be moving ahead. But the hidden information is something to really pay attention to. Many of us are also getting downloads, right? We're going through a lot of the Ascension symptoms. I've just had some pain behind my ears the other day, which is the ear chakra is opening. So many of us, our pituitary glands are opening. We are expanding our frequency in so many ways that it's also affecting our physical bodies. And I just mentioned that about taking a break from clearings. So we can't rush ahead. So this is not the time to force or rush anything ahead. But just realize that there is information that's coming through. There is healing for you that's happening now. And that is going to take you to moving ahead into the more active part of your life. But I do get that it's going to be moving ahead very shortly. So don't worry about that. This is not a time to be worried that something is wrong or to be fearful that it's not going to happen. No. Staying really present and really grounded is really going to be crucial here. Very much. But some of you may want to meditate on the white owl. Who knows? Maybe some of you have already had a white owl pop in your head. That seems to happen on this channel where I bring things out and people be like, wow, that's happened to me. I just got that. I just was experiencing that the other day. So let me know, has the white owl or even just an owl in general come up for you? There's lots to know there. I took some notes here in case I forget anything, and I don't want to forget anything. Your intention, yeah. This is coming up strongly, and we talk about intention a lot on this channel. But this is coming up for this full moon to really think about what your intention is for yourself and for your life. So it really is the first step before you're able to manifest anything is to set your intention. And before we can actually set our intention, have a focused intention, we have to pull out all those weeds. We have to pull out, anything that is not in alignment with our truest intention. Because sometimes, we have the mind, and the mind is like a ping pong ball going back and forth, and our ego is always telling us what we should be doing, how we should be seeing things, what we should have done, and all these different things, the should. And by pulling out all those weeds and really being still, I think still is really, really important. And not to force ourselves to see anything or experience anything, but just sometimes just really listen and take it in and ask our team, well, what is it in the highest good for me to know right now? And just leave it at that. And just being still and just listening, just observing and taking it all in. And that's going to help us a lot of what we need to know. And that information is going to be really, really helpful to us. So not only is it bringing the hidden information, but it's also going to help us to realize too, knowing what it is that we truly want in our lives and what we don't. Okay, and what's really important? What do we value in life? What are our true values? What do we value most? And once we can understand through what we value most, because we have so many different experiences, and we've gone through so much shifting and so much purging and so many synchronicities and all these things coming in. But what does it mean? What does it mean to us? How do we want to live our lives? What is our truest intention? Meditation is going to really help you to find that, to zero in on that. So I want you to realize that, tapping into your intention. And once you're able to tap into your intention, then you would be ready to say, okay, well, now I know what I want, what messages I want to put out to the universe, so that way I can manifest for myself. Because these are my truest desires. But we have to be able to find out what those truest desires are, and we have to get rid of all the clutter and all the crap within the ego mind, all the distractions that are keeping us from focusing in on our truest intention. So some things to realize. And I really do think working with the white owl is going to help bring those answers to you in the correct time. It's all about correct timing. So just be aware of that. And, let me know if you've had any really deep realizations there. Also, too, I've talked about this one before, but this one comes up for this full moon, nonetheless, I have to be honest. Enchantment. I love that word. Of course, for those of you who know, I practice Wicca, and of course, as the Druid perspective with that, but we'll just say in this lifetime, though, it's been about Wicca. And for those of you who don't know, it's a nature practice. It's a nature path where we look at everything as all interconnected. We see the magic in everything and everyone, and yes, we do the craft. We are able to use our intention and put out into the universe that in which we wish to manifest. We put our goals, our desires, our wishes out there to manifest. We honor the cycles. We honor the seasons. We honor all phases of life, death, rebirth. And so it's a beautiful path. Some of you may be interested in it, maybe feel connected to it. Maybe you are Wiccan yourself. If you are interested, I personally would recommend going to Scott Cunningham, the work of Scott Cunningham. And there's a book called The Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And it is a beautiful path. It's not one I'm trying to sell to anybody. But for me, it works, and I love it. And yes, I very much believe in Jesus Christ along with the Wiccan path. Yes, that absolutely works for me. But the point is that enchantment and being able to actually notice the magic of nature and the magic of the seasons and the magic of the cycles and the magic of so many things, the magic of the moment. And lots of people just don't tap into that. They left it in their childhood. And because of the certain experiences that have shut them down, the conditioning of the world, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about just not allowing that to permeate us anymore, the conditioning. And it's really, really important that we absolutely do not live from a conditioned state anymore. We are spiritually awakening, and we are no longer living in a conditioned way, but we're going to unconditional. That's where we're going with everything. So think about it, though. What do we take for granted? Do we take the moon for granted? Do we take the sun for granted? Do we take the winds and the beauty of the snow and the beauty of the first growth of spring for granted? Do we take playtime for granted? Do we even get playtime? I did a video all about this, by the way, about bringing imagination and magic back, so that's something you might want to check out. But when I think of enchantment, I always think about the fairy world. I really, really do. And I've talked about this, and the fairies are very real beings, and they are nature beings, they're elemental beings, and the beauty of fairies, and there's all different types, but the beauty of benevolent fairies is that they can help us to bring the enchantment back and to see it in the mundane. And I think that's where a lot of us go wrong, and we get caught up in anxiety, we get caught up in depression and wanting more and more and more and more, is that we are not noticing the magic in everyday living and mundane things. And it's about shifting our perspective and being able to see the magic and the enchantment and everything, rather than just take it at first sight, or just seeing it in a very one-dimensional way. And that's something that you really can't teach somebody to do, but it's really something that is going to be something of a personal experience, and where it's like that aha moment and that awakening time for somebody, where they're finally like, you know what, I have a different perspective on life, and I choose to see life as as magical, and I embrace that, and I feel it in my heart. So it's something to absolutely meditate on, something to really think about is, where has magic been devoid in your life? Where has it not been there? Did you leave it in childhood? Are there things that possibly from your childhood, imagination and playtime, and are there things that you can bring back, really good things from your childhood, and incorporate them into your adult life, where you don't have to be without magic? And this is the perfect season to do that. I mean, for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere who are, in the wintertime and experiencing, the Yuletide season and Christmas, and it's the perfect time to get inspired. I mean, look at children. Watch children. I did it today when I went to a nursery, and they were like, wow, and they're looking at this whole Christmas walkthrough in a tunnel at Hicks Nursery here in Long Island, New York. Not endorsing them, but just mentioning them. And they are just looking at everything, and they are absolutely excited. And then Santa is there, and they're taking pictures with Santa, and it's like, my gosh. And many of us as adults, we think to ourselves, my God, things were better when we were a kid. Yeah, we get a lot of responsibilities, and there are a lot of challenges that we have to go through as adults. But there's so much of being a child that we can absolutely incorporate into our adult life, but we have to want that. Again, it's intention. So what do you intend for your life? Do you intend on experiencing more enchantment in your life? Yeah, see how this ties in. Do you intend on that? And if so, you're opening the doors up. You're saying yes to the universe. Open that up for you to be able to experience that. And that does a lot of healing. And so I also get this time of this full moon as a time to really heal. We're always healing, yes. I mean, so many of us, especially those who are light workers and twin flames, we're always healing, going through healing. But I do get healing. And the way I get the healing is healing those really last bits of very difficult healing from the past. Closing the door on so much of our past. I get that. I've gotten it before, but I'm getting it with this. A really big closures here in order to bring forth a new beginning and move forward on the crossroads. And what is it that what's needed there? I also really get very strongly about tapping into our potential. I get that very, very strongly. And many of us are not tapping into our fullest potential. We don't realize what our potential is, and now's the time to actually explore that, to discover, or in many cases, rediscover yourself. And I'll just give you an example. Like for me, before I became a professional psychic, a professional medium, a professional clearer, I was very involved, and actually even before I was really on the twin flame journey, I was involved in music. I was a singer. I was a musician. I recorded albums. I did shows. And my life was all about, I'm going to be in music. I'm going to be a rock star. I am going to be something big, and all these, that type of thing. I loved music. It was my passion and everything. But I really had a desire to really do something big with it. I was so driven. And, as life would have it, lots of twists and turns. I realized I was a twin. I went through a lot of different healing and mental healing, emotional healing, issues with my physical body, all these different things. And it took me out of that life that I was in and onto this journey. And I had my mission work, which was introduced to me, and I got to explore that and discover that. And then eventually I would partake in having that be my professional work, which is not really work, it's my mission in which I'm being compensated for, my mission work, my purpose. But the thing is that I put away the music for so long, and it was a very real aspect of myself, and there was something that was always missing, but I really couldn't put my finger on what it was, and it wasn't, no matter what I did, I just felt like I was not really truly happy inside. And what I came to realize, not too long ago, as a matter of fact, is that my fullest potential, I was leaving some of that potential behind because I had creative potential. And it's a real part. Not only was, it is a real part of me, a creative part of me. So that's just an example. So it may be something like that for you. It may be a creative endeavor. It might be a passion. It might be a hobby. It might be anything, right? But now's the time for you to understand your truest potential, and perhaps you have some ideas in mind for your mission. You've gotten guidance and you're afraid. You're at the crossroads, right? You're afraid to take the steps. You don't know what the steps are. You're thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to get, probably any clients to pay attention because I'm just not good enough. However, you're limiting yourself. Perhaps you're not understanding your fullest potential yet. Perhaps you're not really realizing that something is meant for you, but you just are still taking the steps to learn more. So I also get this time, this full moon, as a time of learning. Learning comes up. So we're learning from information that's been hidden. We're learning more and discovering more about who we are, the aspects of ourselves, and the potential. And what it is we're putting it all together and we're becoming whole again. And that's exactly what we need. That's the arsenal that we need to be able to drive our lives forward, drive our path forward. So I'm really, really getting that very, very strongly. So some things to think about, some things to reflect upon for sure with this full moon. I also get hope. Hope comes up very strongly. For those of you who have lost hope, again, this could be connected, all interconnected here. You might be at the crossroads in life and feel like this is hopeless. It's a hopeless situation with my life purpose or my health issue or my twin flame. You might feel like, oh my gosh, this is hopeless. Maybe. Maybe some of you are out of that place by now. But the message here with this moon is to absolutely hold on to the hope, and that hope is going to transition into faith. But let's start out with hope, and then we can bring that into the faith. Because I guarantee that so many things are going to be moving forward for you by the end of this year and going into the next. That is absolutely how it's being received, and I feel it with every single inch of me. Keep that hope alive. It's not a wasteful hope. That hope is absolutely speaking of truth, and that hope will turn into faith, and that faith is going to be such an incredible driving force to help you to move forward, because the active times are coming. Oh my gosh, they are absolutely coming. So stay really grounded. Stay really grounded in what you are learning about yourself right now, what information is coming through, how to shift your perspective to more of the magical side of life, and really understanding that the little moments in life, they're huge. They're huge. And the way you see life, we can have two different people walking in a park, in a preserve, we'll say, right? And one person is just interested in just putting their earbuds in and running and timing themselves and seeing how far they can get and how many miles they've covered and how many calories they burned and all of that. And then we have another person who's carrying a staff. I'm not insinuating that anyone has to do this, but I'm just making a comparison here and a point. And we have another person who's carrying a staff, and they're looking, oh my gosh, look at this incredible foliage. Look at what Mother Nature gives to me. Wow. I'm breathing in the air. Oh, it just feels so good, and it just energizes me, it purifies me, and I'm happy to be alive. And we have this other person that completely ignores nature, really, and just goes on with the hustle and bustle and routine of life, not really noticing that this preserve or this nature walk is absolutely more majestic than they're capable of really knowing, right? So I really think that's the difference between we have a conscious person and an unconscious, really. Because the thing is to be conscious, to be awakened, is to recognize the beauty and the magic all around us, and thus understand that it's a part of us, the interconnection of everything. It really is. It truly, truly is. So enchantment, if those of you who are looking at this video, that hasn't really happened for you yet, then as you awaken further, that magic is going to become a lot more apparent to you. And at that point, you know, it's for your choice to embrace it. Will you embrace it? Will you embrace it, and will that be the perspective for you? Will that be the place in which that's where you're living life from? So things to think about. So we have that. We have keeping hope alive, which will turn to faith. We also have celebration that comes up very, very clearly too. And that really goes along with things that we've talked about also. And the celebration is about finding the joy wherever you can find it. Wherever you can find it. Not comparing your experiences of how you experience joy to say what someone else's experiences are of joy. Because one person's version of what they find fun or joyful, or, you know, it's going to be, it may be very different from how you are experiencing it. One person's version of fun is different from another person's version of fun. What makes one person happy is going to be different from someone else's version of being happy. And you know what? There's no need to compare. In fact, it's damaging to compare at all, to compare yourself, period, to anyone else. But just to really embrace your unique self, your unique path. And to really appreciate and to find the joy in everyday living. And that includes enchantment. And also I get it as celebration as to how far that you've come. And to really, that's, to me, like the celebration is really as far as being grateful. I feel like those two really coincide, between grateful and celebrating. To celebrate that in which you have, and that which you've accomplished, and to recognize your accomplishments, and that they don't have to be compared to anybody else. So finding the joy and really thinking about that's what I'm really, really getting for this full moon. So much happening here. So much going on. And it's really going to take us into next year. And next year, my gosh. Yes, we had one heck of a year. And I'm going to do a video, you know, on obviously I'm going to do the December messages, and we'll see what the angelics have to say about that. But, you know, I always do a look at what the new year is going to be. So that's going to be coming up in January. But yeah, it's been one heck of a year, and it's been a lot of challenges. But celebrate. Now's the time to just celebrate and just take it all in, and enjoy where you are, and accept where you are, because there's more learning for you right now. There's more healing, there's more learning, there's more closing out of the past, and you are gathering. I really get it as a gathering. You know, just think of like the animals, like gathering their food, you know, to survive throughout the winter. We're gathering ourselves, we're gathering our aspects, we're gathering our potential, we're gathering the information, we're gathering this all together, and we're integrating all of this. And then when we gather all of that, that's what we're going to need to survive, to move on, and to thrive. And that's where our lives are really going to take off, and we're going to see a lot of physical changes happening. So, really something to realize there. Actually, quite a few things to realize there. Some big, profound things to realize there. So let me know, you know, how you've resonated with this. This is what I'm getting for this full moon. And I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. I don't think that I did. it's truly about just really on the things that we talked about, and knowing that the adventures are ahead. I just want to leave you with that the adventures are absolutely ahead, and sometimes we have to have a lot of those inner adventures first before we can have those outer adventures. So within, so without. So there's a lot of exploration going on there, a lot of discovery happening there, and what we're going to realize, what's going to be uncovered to us, is going to help to uplift us. It's going to uplift us. We're going to be refreshed. This is a time of renewal now. And then we can be able to drive life forward where we're actually going to be experiencing the physical changes. And so many huge ones are going to be coming up for people. My gosh, between moving across the world or moving across states to meeting with twins, reunions with twins, starting missions if you haven't started, understanding what your mission is, and being able to finally put that out there in the world, because that's when you're really going to shine. And so there's lots of changes in people's spaces coming up. So many adventures ahead. So just take that with you. And I think I'm going to end it at there. But let me know how you resonated with these full moon messages. Love to hear from you. And as I always say, because it's always true, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Many blessings to all of you, and I will see you all next week. Take good care and discover yourself. Bye-bye.